We're going to begin with breaking news because there's a lot of it tonight. As we come on the air, the FBI has issued an urgent law enforcement bulletin saying groups are planning armed protests at the U.S. Capitol and at state capitals ahead of President-elect Biden's inauguration. The FBI says there are also threats against Mr. Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, along with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Also this, Chad Wolf, the acting Secretary of Homeland Security, says he's resigning just hours after he stepped up security in Washington, putting the Secret Service in charge of a national special security event a week ahead of Mr. Biden's swearing in. Now, the Washington Monument has already closed, and the Park Service says it may shut down other areas of D.C. in the coming days. And we're just learning that at least 2 Capitol police officers have been suspended, accused of joining in with the rioters who stormed the U.S. Capitol last week, including leading them through the halls of the building. Well, tonight on Capitol Hill, Democrats have introduced an article of impeachment against the president, accusing him of inciting last week's attack. And there is increasing pressure for Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment. So we've got a lot of new reporting tonight. We've got our correspondent standing by. CBS's Catherine Herridge is going to lead us off tonight with the growing security threat. Good evening, Catherine.
Good evening, Nora. A senior U.S. official tells CBS News there is growing evidence tonight of coordination and premeditation among some protesters as the FBI warns more violence is possible in the days ahead.
In a bulletin sent to law enforcement today, the FBI warns extremists are calling for demonstrations, some armed, and storming federal, state, and local courthouses if President Trump is removed from office early. Every FBI office is now focused on preventing a repeat of last week's takeover of the U.S. Capitol. Agents are poring over more than 40,000 digital tips, including photos and videos. And this new angle, which appears to show rioters clashing with police officers with anything they can grab, the pole of an American flag, even a crutch, and beating a police officer.
These officers were fighting. They were fighting for hours to protect that Capitol. I saw officers get hit with fire extinguishers.
Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund, who has since resigned, tells CBS News that during the attack, he repeatedly asked the Pentagon to send National Guard troops.
I needed boots on the ground, immediate assistance right then and there, helping to form police lines to help secure up the foundation of the United States Capitol building. They were more concerned with the optics.
The Pentagon says it did not deny Sund's request. During the assault, some protesters chanted, "Hang the Vice President." More than 100 protesters have been arrested. These 2 accused of bringing restraints, including plastic zip ties that can function as makeshift handcuffs. One of them, Larry Brock, is an Air Force veteran. Others arrested face a variety of charges, including well-known protesters Jake Angeli, known as QAnon Shaman, and Adam Johnson, seen carrying the Speaker's lectern, and this unidentified man waving a Confederate flag. The timeline is also coming into focus. Protesters started violently pushing their way onto the grounds of the Capitol building around 1 p.m. Inside, lawmakers were preparing for a joint session of Congress in the House chamber to count the electoral votes. About an hour later, the Capitol was breached. This video shows lawmakers on the other side of this door as a rioter punches through and breaks the glass. Vice President Pence was pulled from the Senate chamber at approximately 2:14. By 2:17, our producer inside confirmed the Senate chamber was locked down. Law enforcement bulletins obtained by CBS News show that earlier as the president addressed the rally, pipe bombs were discovered at the Republican National Committee and Democratic National Committee headquarters.
Late today, 2 Capitol Hill police officers were suspended over their interactions with some of the demonstrators, and the acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Chad Wolf, resigned, citing recent events, including court challenges to the legitimacy of his appointment. That leaves a void at the top of the government agency responsible for overall security at the inauguration. Nora?
At such a critical time. Catherine Herridge, thank you.